Joshua Brown worked at 24 childcare centres between January 2017 and May this year. The Prime Minister is in Chengdu in China's southwest for the final leg of his 6-day tour of the country. Anthony Albanese visited the Great Wall of China and also announced Chengdu will host an Australian Open wildcard playoff tournament. Deputy PM Richard Miles telling Nine it's been a fruitful tour.
The meeting of the Prime Minister with President Xi this visit is really important in stabilising what is a very complex relationship. And we've seen the benefits of that stabilisation through the resumption of trade.
Donald Trump is on the offensive, lashing out at his supporters that are upset over his handling of the Epstein files that the US president is calling a hoax. And German backpacker Carolina Wilger will be heading back home soon after being discharged from hospital following her recovery from her outback ordeal. She was missing for 11 days in WA's Wheatbelt region. Up next, SEN Sport. Collingwood recruit Dan Houston is set to miss the next 2 weeks with an abdominal strain picked up in the loss to Gold Coast. The Bombers' injury woes has seen them make 6 changes for tonight's clash with the Giants at Marvel Stadium, while 3 changes for GWS. Stephen Cornelio returns for his first game since round 3, while Jesse Hogan is being managed.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SENTrack. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Yes, good morning. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall on this Friday, the 17th of July. A big hello to you wherever you may be listening on your local SENTrack dial or the SEN app. And every day, of course, we are streaming live on the SEN app. So you can watch us these days also on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. And it's a special Giddy Up on this Friday morning. We are live from the Home Straight Bistro at the iconic harness racing venue in Brisbane at Albion Park as we get set for harness racing's 2 biggest dances come Saturday night with the running of the finals of the Inter-Dominion, the Ladbrokes Inter-Dominion, for the Trotters and also the Pacers. So can't wait for that. We'll continue the build-up towards Inter-Dominion finals night right throughout the next couple of days here on Giddy Up. And we'll catch up with a few of the major players, not only throughout today's show, but also tomorrow. James Herbertson, one of the young guns of the sport of harness racing, will join us just after 9 o'clock. Aaron Clark, the boss of harness racing Queensland, will also join us a little later on as well. So looking forward to that. And then an extended version of Giddy Up, we're facing the breeze, all thanks to Garrett's Horse and Hound. And we'll catch up with the Ashwoods, Albie Ashwood and his partner Taylor Frentz. Of course, they've got Prizzy and Artis engaged in the Inter-Dominion Trotters final. It'll be some story if that trotter can get the chocolates. We'll also catch up with Jason Grimson. Darren Carroll will join us as well. So looking forward to that. So it's a big show coming your way live to Albion Park on this Friday morning. Plus all of our regulars today What about this for a lineup for Giddy Up Stable Mail? Bjorn Baker, Robbie Archibald, Calvin McAvoy, Michelle Payne, Richard Jolly, and the Western Whip Around will feature Luke Fernie. And then after 10 o'clock, it's the weekend preview. Mitchie Lewis looks at Flemington, and Mickey Gannon and Dean Watling take a close look at Rose Hill on a Saturday. Giddy Up always brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. And we are live at the Home Straight Bistro, all thanks to, of course, Racing Queensland. And you can see Leap to Fame, the world's best pacer, live at the Creek this July, of course, on Saturday night for the Ladbrokes Inter-Dominion. But let's get stuck into the show on this Thursday morning at 8 0499 736 736 to join our conversation. It's time now for Giddy Up Stable Mail.
Now on Giddy Up, it's time for Stable Mail.
Always great to catch up with Bjorn Baker on a Thursday morning for Giddy Up Stable Mail. G'day, Bjorn. Thanks for your time, mate.
Yeah, morning, Gareth. Good to be on.
I know you love your trots growing up in New Zealand. We were in New Zealand last January, weren't we? We caught up with Dexter Dunn, the superstar from Kiwi land, and your home country usually dominates our feature races when it comes to the trots.
Yeah, well, it's been a few while since Blossom Lady and Holmes DG, and I took a horse down to I was at university in Dunedin, and I took a horse. I went on the float down from Cambridge. We had a horse called a grey horse, Filberto, for my father. And there was a little midget on that float, and he was up to my knees, and his name was Courage Under Fire. So I still remember that. No, we used to sort of have a little bit more crossover probably in New Zealand than you do here. It's hard to keep up with everything, and I'm even a bit tired this morning. I watched that Sonny Bill Williams fight in Gallon. The Kiwi was robbed, mate. Robbed.
No,
I don't know who was judging.
My mail was he done it pretty easily, Gallon. He did it pretty easily. There was a lot of trash talk. And the Aussie was too strong in the end for poor old Sonny.
Yeah, there was a lot of trash talk, and it's business. I think there won't be as much trash talk with you. You've swallowed up your competitor, Gareth. Is that
true? No, looking forward to the next chapter. We'll be starting on September 1st, Bjorn, so looking forward to it. RSN is a great station, and the guys at RSN did a wonderful job, but that's life, I guess, Bjorn. We move on. Yeah. But what about if there was a fight? If there was a fight in racing, if there was there had to be a Gallon v Sonny Bill Williams, who would you want to see in the ring?
Well, I reckon my boxing career would be like my rugby career. I was so good, I won every ruck by 50 metres.
Yes. What's been the feedback?
Actually, I got in a little bit of a bar fight when I was in Gimble Bar in Dublin about 20 years ago, and there were two quotes my mates gave me after that. They said, first quote, Baker's got 2 mute buttons because the first one didn't shut him up, and the second quote was 20 years overdue.
What about what's the feedback been like with B Baker getting horses from Godolphin? Congratulations, well done there.
Yeah, no, it's exciting, and it's a privilege to train for the Godolphin. Obviously at Warwick Farm, we've been able to see a lot of the horses over the years, and they breed great horses, and they've got a great history. So no, it's a great thrill, and getting a horse like Pericles is very exciting. He's a very good horse, and can't wait for him to come in. And at the moment, I'm very lucky. I've got a lot of really nice horses. I think even Derby Racing bought another couple of Godolphin horses yesterday, or one Godolphin horse and another really promising horse, Mayfair. And I'm very lucky. I've got a lot of nice horses, and it definitely makes getting up in winter very easy.
So you're definitely getting Mayfair at Snack Bar?
Correct, Amondo, yeah. So that's exciting, and Derby have a pretty good formula. Scott's able to find good ones. So now I must say it's been a great season, but I'm looking forward to next season too. We've got a lot of nice horses.
Pericles, Sheikh Mohammed, be disappointed, I reckon, if you don't win a Cox Plate with him, Bjorn.
Oh, you got a dream, and that's what
Yes.
it's about. And there's no shortage of races in the spring, so there's plenty of options. So we'll just get them into the stable and go from there.
Do you understand what babies you're getting yet from the Blue
I've got a
Army?
rough idea. So
Yeah. Does that excite
that's
you?
exciting. Pardon?
Yeah. Any good relations that you know of that you can tell us about?
I won't go into specifics, but I think they only breed pretty good relations. They breed great horses, and they've got a very strong broodmare band from that point of view. And they've got a lot of world-class stallions, so that definitely helps.
I think the key to all of this is we'll just see how good Jimmy Cummings is as a pre-trainer. We'll see if he delivers these horses as well as you want them, Bjorn.
Yeah, well, and James he's done a great job there too, and no doubt he's a little bit of a loss in terms of Sydney racing, going to Hong Kong, and he's smart, he's presentable, and he's pretty good to market racing. So we'll miss him in Sydney. Definitely, it's competitive. There's no doubt about that. You're always competing with your other trainers, but in some ways, he's going to have a little bit of a holiday, I guess, before going to Hong Kong. And Hong Kong's very, very competitive. So,
would you go to Hong Kong one day? If you got the phone
call?
call?
No, I won't be going to Hong Kong. I'm in the best country in the world, Gareth.
Yes, you are. How dare you? Once we give you citizenship and you packed up and left, we would be disgusted if you did that.
No chance.
No chance. What about on Saturday afternoon? Disnett goes around. Can he flash down the outside and come from the clouds and win first up?
I think he's probably going to be better for a run or two. And the gate 12 at Rose Hill's a little bit tricky. He's not out of it, and we're getting the good weather he needs. He needs a good track. He needs to be ridden cold, but to finish off, he needs a strong pace. So he needs all three of those things. And he's probably going to be better for a run or two, but he's not out of it. I think he's coming up well.
And then you've got two strong chances in the Winter Challenge. It's fair to say Robusto was a little stiff there the other day.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think he's going great. His work on Tuesday was actually definitely the best piece of work he's done in this preparation. So if he runs up to that from a good gate, his good track form's good, I think he'll be very competitive.
Thunderlips flying this prep?
Yeah, he's going really well. He's been up for a little bit longer, so I'm mindful he's probably going to come to the end at some stage, but he does look well. He's in good order. We're going to be more positive than we probably were last time, so he definitely deserves his chance. He's a good each-way chance.
You had a couple of interesting runners in the last. Highlights hasn't fired before first up, but I watched a couple of his trials recently, Bjorn. He seems to be flying. Highlights.
Yeah, I've got a couple of old timers that were wheeling out, and I think he's going really well. Highlights. I think he's in for another pretty good preparation. I've had him, I think, 3 preparations now. He's always won a race or two, and likewise, War Eternal's going very well too. So they're both long odds, but I think they're both in there with half a chance anyway. I think they're more forward than they've been previously first up.
Beautiful. So we need to put them in our quaddies. Is that what you're telling us?
Well, yeah, 2 horses is a lot, though. I know how many you put in your quaddies.
Yes.
It goes
Field.
down to 0.0.
I put Field in the last because it's just heartbreaking if you miss out after doing all of the hard work there sometimes. But I always put you in my quaddie, no doubt about it, because I just hate for you to knock me out. If I gave you $100, however, this weekend, what would you be doing with it?
I'd be putting it to win on Robusto.
Beautiful. Love it. When do you get Mayfair and Stack back into the stable? How long does that process take after you buy them online?
I'm not too sure. I'll talk to Scott today and the team at Derby, and we'll just get that organised. So hopefully soon. Yeah, no, it's definitely exciting.
And you looked a treat too, watching you on the social media regarding your competition you did there the other day, and those lunges were exceptional. I'll be backing you next start. No doubt about it. How'd you pull up?
What, well, it's not going to make any difference to your punting balance anyway, Gareth.
No.
But you won't
We
be
should
getting
be able
a select off me, that's for sure.
We should be able to punt on that, I reckon. I see that a fellow race caller, I'm not a race caller, but a race caller, Anthony Manton, did it as well. So there's a few racing people getting involved, inspired by
I'll have
you,
to
no
look up
doubt.
his time.
Yeah, he's a freak.
Wait,
He
hey,
flew.
wait for age. Wait for age. I should get a discount off all of them.
What do you think about paying back to last in a Melbourne Cup?
Well, funnily enough, I had a repo in it a couple of years
Yeah.
ago, and my old man, it was the one race he didn't win. I think he had a second, a fourth, 2/5. And he said, "Gee, son, you're in 11th." He said, "That's disappointing because they used to only pay the top 10."
Yeah.
He said, "You're in 11th." And he said, "Oh, you miss out, You don't get paid." I said, "Murray, they changed it to top 12, 150,000 I get." And he went, "Oh, is that right?" So I've only had the two runners, She's Ideal and Arapaho. They both run top 12. Both got paid anyway. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that is quite. And you still want to sort of go there and be half competitive. This probably promotes people to run horses with absolutely no chance. So at first thought I probably would be against it.
Hopefully it doesn't. I think it'll work okay. I think that getting to the Melbourne Cup, as being a proud Australian that you are, you're a winner already. So hopefully it does work out. We don't have people disrespecting the Cup. But I reckon, regardless if you're in form or not, if you qualify for the Melbourne Cup, I don't know about you, Bjorn, but if I owned a horse and it qualified for the Melbourne Cup, that's the dream anyway, to race in the Melbourne Cup, to have an owner's ticket on the first Tuesday in November to get into that mounting yard. So hopefully it works out and we have horses there that deserve to be in the Melbourne Cup. But they'll have their conditions, I think, the VRC. They haven't confirmed those conditions for the race, so it'd be interesting to read those and if they've changed just a little bit.
I guess the other thing is with the vetting procedures too, it's probably got a lot harder to. A lot of horses are not getting to the Cup, whereas previously. So if you've got a horse, a big part of getting into the Cup now is actually passing those veterinary protocols.
You should get $100,000 for passing the vet, so that's the reward you should get.
Yeah, well, exactly, and that's one way to look at it too. So, no, it'll be interesting.
Good on you, mate. We appreciate your help as always, and good luck on Saturday. And well done getting those Godolphin horses.
Thanks, Gareth. See you, team.
There's Bjorn Baker. We'll take a break. Robbie Archibald to join us next.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SENTrack. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. We're live from the Home Straight Bistro as we get set for Inter-Dominion night at Albion Park. So horses are working in the centre of the track. I think I can see Prezi and Artis out there. He'll be a finalist in the Inter-Dominion. Hosts of New South Wales and Victorian trainers are based here at Albion Park for the carnival. And it's a beautiful morning in Brisbane Vegas. So looking forward to catching up with a few of the major players throughout the morning. James Herbertson, one of the young guns of the sport, will be joining me just after 9 o'clock. And then we've got an extended Giddy Up after 11 o'clock. We're facing the breeze, all thanks to Garrett's Horse and Hound. And we'll talk to a few of the major players there. 0499 736 736 to join our conversation. Let's catch up with Calvin McAvoy, because the McAvoys have been on fire of late. And they've got a couple of nice chances at Rose Hill and one in the size there at Morphettville on Saturday. Calvin, good morning to you.
Good morning, Gareth. How are you?
I am very well. Where are you today?
I'm at Ballarat, mate. We're in the middle of track work. We're about to start jump outs very shortly, so it's nice and brisk here this morning.
Beautiful. What about Mr. Verse? He comes to Sydney after a successful campaign. Well, he had that one run at the Sunshine Coast and he was impressive. This is tougher in Sydney on Saturday. What do you make of his chances?
Yeah, look, he's a very progressive horse. I mean, we're really pleased with him. He was up in the Sunshine Coast. He went into that race probably a little bit underdone, and we weren't surprised he won on ability, but we thought with where he was at in the prep, he'd take that run and be very competitive second up. And he got over the top of them. We accepted at Flemington as well, but we like the look of Rose Hill better. And, we think he's a horse on the up, and he can certainly give that race a shake.
He showed a great turn of foot there at Caloundra the other day.
He really did. And, I mean, he's a horse. He didn't have the blinkers on that day. They go back on for Saturday, and he's a horse that went through his grades very well last prep. It was a fairly significant offer from Hong Kong on the table for him, and okay. Marty Heron, and he decided to, he backed the horse in. He had a big opinion of him, and I think he's probably right.
The son of Too Darn Hot, Volcano, exploded there at Ballarat on the synthetic track to lead all of the way. Goes to Adelaide in a good race, the size produce stakes there. So what can you tell us about this son of Too Darn Hot?
Yeah, look, he's a very nice horse. I mean, the stallion is doing great things. To have more of them, he's going to be a very good stallion for a long time, Too Darn Hot. And this horse was a little bit boisterous as a colt, and his mind wasn't on the job. We had to have the conversation with the ownership group, which was difficult to have. He was an expensive, well-bred Too Darn Hot colt, but he had to lose his two best friends, Gareth, and so the making of the horse. He was impressive the other day. Don't think he beat much, but you can only win, and we thought for that reason we're going to throw him in the deep end this Saturday.
How will you handle a soft track?
Not sure. What is it going to be over there?
Around a soft 5, soft 6, they tell me.
I think it'd be fine. Fine. I mean, look, they're all being thrown in the deep end. Looking at the nominations and and the acceptances, it's it's not a vintage by the looks of it, a vintage group race, and I think for that reason we're happy to take our place.
If I gave you $100, what are you doing with it this weekend, Calvin?
It's going on Mr. Verse because we feel he's a pretty nice horse, Gareth.
Race 4, number 2 at Rose Hill. And congratulations. We just had a chat to Bjorn Bakey. You've got horses coming away from Godolphin. That must be a huge thrill for the stable.
It's a huge thrill, Gareth. Big privilege. And it's got myself and Dad very excited. We feel privileged to be considered, and they're an elite operation, Godolphin. They've got very well-bred horses, very well-educated horses, and we look forward to the challenge of producing some results for them.
On fire at the moment, Kelvin. You've got Johnny Stewart, Mr. Zhang, Godolphin. You've got all of the big guns of world racing in your stable, so you should be proud. Job well done, and good luck on Saturday, and good luck for next season.
Thanks, Gareth. Thank you.
You keep on dominating. There's Calvin McAvoy there. We'll take the news and we'll come back with Robbie Archibald's not far away.
Powered by Signet, making SEN News headlines. Anthony Albanese announces Chengdu in China's southwest will host a wildcard playoff tournament for next year's Australian Open. Cricket Australia's new CEO, Todd Greenberg, is tightening the belt in his first few months in the job, with 15 staff members axed. Donald Trump is on the offensive, lashing out at his supporters that are upset over his handling of the Epstein files that the US president is calling a hoax. A new stats show the birth rate has declined in Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane. Coming up, sen.com.au sport. Collingwood recruit Dan Houston is set to miss the next 2 weeks with an abdominal strain picked up in the loss to Gold Coast. The Bombers' injury woes has seen them make 6 changes for tonight's clash with the Giants at Marvel Stadium, while 3 changes for GWS. Stephen Cornelio returns for his first game since round 3, while Jesse Hogan is being managed.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SENtrack. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. We're live from the Home Straight Bistro. More horses are on the track. I'll see if I can find out that horse that just galloped around Albion Park. Most of these pacers and trotters gallop in fast work these days. It's sizzled around Albion Park. We might try and get some late mail at the Albion Park trots there with some workouts this morning. And we'll catch up with a few of the major players as the morning unfolds, as we get set for the Inter-Dominion, where you'll get to see, if you turn up at Albion Park on Saturday night, if you're around the Brisbane area. If not, you can watch it, of course, on Sky Thoroughbred Central and Sky Racing. The world's best pace. He's the best horse I've ever seen in Leap to Fame. He's $1.10, I think he is, with Bet365 to win the Inter-Dominion final from Gate 1. He'll win the Inter-Dominion final, but it's just a pleasure to see greatness, and that's what you'll see if you head to Brisbane on Saturday night, head to the trots at Albion Park, as Leap to Fame looks for his second Inter-Dominion at this very track. But let's catch up with Robbie Archibald, who joins us now on Giddy Up Stable Mail. Good morning to you, Rob.
Good morning, Gareth. How are you?
Good, thank you, mate. How was your little bit of a break? Did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, it was great. It's always nice to get away for a little bit, and yeah, we had a great couple of weeks. We're back into it now, which is exciting.
What did you get up to? What was the highlight?
We did a horse riding safari in Kenya, which was pretty amazing. So we did that for a week, and it was it was a good experience.
So what was that experience like?
It's a bit hard to explain until you're there. You sort of fly into Nairobi, you then fly into what's called the Masai Mara, which is sort of a big national park where there's wildlife everywhere, and you get very close to the animals, which was good, and you get pretty well looked after along the way. So it was nice to sort of unwind and have a little bit of time off. You
got some key chances right across the country as always for your stable on a Saturday. Where does Eye of Fire, he looks hard to beat wherever he goes, either Flemington or Rose Hill on Saturday?
Yeah, probably leaning towards Flemington.
Yep.
He's frustrating. He didn't sort of fire at all first up after some nice trials. So looking to see him bounce back. Never been down to Flemington or down the straight, but probably going to give him just to try and give him a change of scenery and see how he adapts.
Yeah, it's got a good record second up.
He does, yeah, he does, and certainly not giving up on him. But he's going to need to bounce back from what was disappointing first up run.
Can you win a Flemington Cup, the great race named in honour of one of the greatest tipsters of all time, if not the greatest tipster, the great Dean Lester?
I think we can, yeah. I really like particularly Mormona. I thought his run last start was excellent, and he's a horse that is proven over this distance, 2,800 and even further. So, I think he's probably our number one seed with a couple of other chances in there also.
All right, then, Sir Mormona, the one to play in the Flemington Cup. Nellie Laylax looks an each-way chance in the last race there at Flemington, or the second last.
Yeah, not blessed with the nicest of draws, but he's going well, and I think, he's certainly one to keep an eye on, but he's going to need a little bit of luck.
And what do you make of Little Mix these days?
Yeah, she's probably been just a little bit below par where she has been in the past. We've just scalloped her in the blinkers through the week, and that seemed to sharpen her up a little bit. So whether she's just looking for a little bit of help at this stage of her career, but she's going to need to improve.
Yoshinobu's got plenty of talent, now resumes in the OTI colours. What do you make of Yoshinobu's chances first up?
Yeah, he's an exciting horse. He's got a nice draw. His trials have been good. Now he's been gelded. He's always had a few quirks. So, look, he may take a run, but his trials suggest he's going well. And I'm not sure he was ready to win first up, but certainly expect him to run well.
Looks a lovely race for Cormac T in race 7.
Yeah, he's really good the other day. 2,400 could suit. So nice draw, good setup. Should be one of our main chances.
Love the way that Don't Forget Jack hit the line there the other day. He goes around in race 4 and looks mighty hard to beat at an each way price.
Yeah, that was 1,400 last start. An extra 100 metres should help him. He's going well. Nice draw. Really like him. I think he's still plenty of improvement to come. So I think he's a nice chance.
And then at Eagle Farm, you've got the one there, and that's Kiwi Spirit, who's in winning form this preparation.
He is, yeah, he's in winning form, but this is his strongest test to date. So we'll learn a bit more about him on Saturday. But he's been running well, and we'll wait and see whether he can measure up to this sort of company.
If I gave you $100, Robbie, what would you be doing with it this weekend?
I think I'd be 50 on Don't Forget Jack, and I'd be going 50 on Mormona in the Dean Lester.
So Don't Forget Jack's race 4 there at Rose Hill, and in the Dean Lester there at Flemington on Saturday, Mormona's race 7, number 8. Thanks for your time as always, mate, and we appreciate it, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Gareth.
There's Robbie Archibald. We'll take a break. We'll come back with plenty more. We've got Michelle Payne, Richard Jolly and Luke Fernie to come for Giddy Up Stable Mail this Thursday morning.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SENtrack. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall live from Brisbane this morning. The Home Straight Bistro at Albion Park. The new bistro, they've done up superbly. They did it in about 6 or 7 weeks before the Inter-Dominion, and it's come up a treat. We were here last night. The food's exceptional, and it will be packed here Saturday night for Harness Racing's Holy Grails with the Inter-Dominion Trotters and Pacers final here at the home of Harness Racing in Queensland. And it's great to see all of these Trotters and Pacers out working this morning here at Albion Park on a beautiful Brisbane winter morning. So looking forward to catching up with Albie Ashwood a little later on. He's got Parisian Artis in the Group 1 Inter-Dominion Trotters final. We'll catch up with Aaron Clark, the boss of Harness Racing at Racing Queensland. And then an extended Giddy Up this morning for Facing the Breeze. All thanks to Garrett's Horse and Hound, Jason Grimson, James Herbertson, and a few of the other major players will join us in that hour. But let's catch up with Michelle Payne, because Patrick and Michelle Payne have been on fire, as we all know, during the winter, and they've got some great chances heading to Flemington Saturday. Michelle, good morning to you. Thanks for your time.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you. How was Patrick's birthday Saturday night?
A lot of fun. Not the most conventional 50th birthday party that you'd have, but it was lots of fun, that's for sure.
Beautiful. All right, then we'll see if we can... Well, hopefully you can help us back a few winners there on Saturday. Zupper and Glacy goes around in that second race. He's been pretty good to kick off his racing career, or she has, I should say. She was brave, I thought, the other day at Geelong. What do you make of her chances there on Saturday?
Look, it's a bit of a throw at the stump. She has had 2 sort of starts over shorter distances up to the 1800, just to see whether she can run the longer distances. She may well be a sort of an Oaks filly next year, and it was a nice race to just, sort of throw her in the deep end a little bit just to see how she measures up.
I love this concept by the VRC. If you win this, it's a green. It's a free pass into one of the classics there during the Flemington Carnival. So there's plenty up for grabs there, Michelle.
Yeah, that's right, and obviously it is a throw at the stumps, but she has shown us really good ability, and was a really good first start at Echuca against a pretty nice one of Hayes's, and then just had no luck the other day from the tricky draw, and was a little bit plain to the eye, but we think she's a bit better than that. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing how she goes on Saturday.
What do you make of Sorry's flight's effort with the blinkers on the other day?
Much more of him back to his best. His sort of first few runs back in were a bit inconclusive. He was drawn wide, didn't show much zest for racing, and he was just much better the other day. We saw him, back to what he'd showed us in the previous preparation at Flemington, and just seems to like that track. So bit of a tricky draw again, but the 1700 hopefully can jump well and put himself into a good spot.
And then in the Dean Lester Flemington Cup, over the 2,800 metres, he was brave again, Bold Soul at Flemington, and I couldn't believe Golden State Warrior beat him, but it was a good effort by Bold Soul, nonetheless.
Yeah, it certainly was. He's just racing in great form and fashion, and that's all you can ask of him. He's a bit of a quirky little character, so it's good to see him really wanting to try hard and race well.
It looks like a nice race stepping up to the 2,800 metres. Your confidence levels going into that race, Michelle, with him?
Look, every race is tricky and nothing's easy. So all you can do is have him there in the best shape, and he's training on well. So if he continues to race in the same sort of fashion, he'll be making his presence felt.
Can Hard to Cross win a Mildura Cup there on Friday?
Look, he's racing well. He was caught wide and stuck to his guns pretty well second up, and he had to go into this preparation without a jump out or a trial. So we did as much as we could at home with him, and he's done a good job considering. So third up from a spell. Mildura's a pretty good track for him, we think, and I think he's a sneaky little hope down on the minimum.
Beautiful. Is Stevie get his jockey's licence soon? I've been watching him on social media as well. He's sitting beautifully on top of them, Michelle.
He does. He's got very good balance and
Yes.
loves getting in the saddle, so it's been really good.
And if I gave you $100, what are you doing with it this weekend?
All right, if you gave me $100,
Yes.
I'd probably go a nice little multi all up with hard to cross into Bold Soul. You could go the safer option and go place, or you could go for gold and take them both to win.
What would you do, Michelle?
Probably go for gold and maybe
Yeah.
throw in Zambezi Khan on Friday as well.
Beautiful. That'll do us. So that's race 7, number 6, Hard to Cross. Into race 8, number 3, Zambezi Khan. That's at Mildura. And the Pains, you've got a great record there at Mildura. And then Bold Soul and the Dean Lester Flemington Cup, which is race 7, horse number 4. As always, we really appreciate your time, Michelle. Thanks for that.
No problem. Thank you.
There's Michelle Payne there. We'll take a break and we'll come back with Richard Jolly straight after this.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SENtrack. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. Thanks to Bet365, you can listen to us on your local SENtrack dial or the SEN app, or you can watch us live every day now, streaming on the SEN app, also on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel, all thanks to Bet365. This is Giddy Up Stable Mail. Let's catch up with one of the stars of the sport, Richard Jolly, because the Jolly Camp will play a major part at Flemington and on the Parks track in Adelaide on Saturday. Richard, good morning to you. Thanks for your time.
Morning, Gareth. How are you?
Good, thanks, mate. Joseph Fair, I thought, was really good the other day at Flemington.
Yeah, look, she's been running well. If you look at the form guide, 776 or something, it doesn't look that impressive, but she's only been beaten small margins and hasn't had a lot of luck. The tempo of the races has like gone against her a bit. She's like a get back run on type, but yeah, she's back in grade, so you know she certainly probably gets a better chance at them.
What about the 1600 metres?
Probably some query, but I think if the race, you know, she certainly had the runs under the belt to get it. It's just a matter. I'd just like to see the race run a bit quicker, and she could probably settle a bit closer, hopefully. So, yeah, I suppose it's always a query till you see him do it.
And she should be able to do that from that gate, stepping up and trip, be a little bit closer to the action.
Yeah, you would hope so. It just hopefully she can, you know, jump from that good gate and sit a couple of pairs closer. For sure.
What'd you make of Great Maximus the other day?
Oh, look, I thought he was good. He just got a bit keen mid-race. He kind of loomed up and, look, I think he was only beaten a length. You couldn't sort of like knock the run at all. No. I just elected to bring him back to 1200. I just think he's probably better back fresh over that kind of trip. So, yeah, look, he's drawn probably a favourable gate for the straight, and you know, I certainly think he's up to winning one of these races.
He's a great each-way hope there with Bet365. He's currently at $12. And then lose some, win more. Loved his effort the other day. It was just impossible for him to win with the way that they ran that race down the straight.
Yeah, he was kind of a little bit slow out, and the horse inside him, which we wanted to follow, Recollection, I think it was, it sort of jumped slow too.
Yeah. Yep.
Recommendation, it jumped slow, and they probably just settled a bit far off him, to be honest. And look, he closed off well, and you know, he's obviously out of his grade in that. But yeah, he's back in grade. He's up in weight, but it's probably not a big worry over 1,000 metres. So hopefully Willow can peg one back.
Yes, he made up ground last Saturday, Willow, and then he obviously lost a little bit of ground there yesterday, so he's 7 still behind. So he'll be determined. He's hungry at this time of the year, Willow. So I love the booking there. I guess with him, is he better over 1,000 or 1,100?
Oh, look, you know, preferably probably 1,100, but you know, you've got a calendar didn't produce one of them, so we've got to run in 1,000. Yeah.
What about Be Responsible in Adelaide? Was very impressive on debut.
Yeah, look, he's a big raw kind of horse. He still does a bit wrong. Don't know whether gate one's ideal, but yeah, certainly he's got the talent there. It's just if the race kind of pans out for him, but yeah, certainly he's a nice horse going forward.
And in the last race, you've got Deep Float Diva going around, that son of Deep Field. This looks a nice race for him as well. Well, the market suggests he'll be hard to beat.
Yeah, I quite like his chances. He's off a freshen up. Horse seems really well at the moment, and he's just drawn that nice gate where he probably just sit right behind the leaders. This preparation he's kind of drawn a few awkward gates that have just made us ride him a little bit quieter, which haven't probably suited him. But tomorrow, I think he really gets his chance.
Out of Mondello, all too misty and mostly for show. What would be your best chance there?
Mondello, she's probably going to need a run over 1,000 metres and what's a bit further. All too misty will probably come out, and mostly for show. Look, he's been running well. Same kind of race. He's probably got to make up a couple of lengths on a couple of them, but you know, he's an each way hope.
If I gave you $100, what would you do with it this weekend?
Oh, I'd probably go Deep Float Diva, Adelaide.
So it's race 8, number 2, 100 straight out. Deep Float Diva there on Saturday. Usually you would play a part during a Mildura Carnival. I don't think you're there this year.
No, I usually go up every year, but we got good owners and good friends up there. But we're just now with the horses, some based in Melbourne, and 3 runners at Flemington. We just had to give Mildura a miss this year. I can't be everywhere. Chantel's heavily pregnant at the moment, so she can't really travel. So we'll leave her home, and I've got to do the hard yards.
Yes, well, there you go. We wish Chantel the very best of luck. Some of the great punting stories are when the Jollies set one up for the Lanyons during a Mildura Cup Carnival, and we'd go to the Gateway or the Grand, and they would tell us the story. So we'll just have to wait for another year then, Rich.
Yeah, well, hopefully you'll be talking about this time next year.
Yes, good on you, mate. We appreciate your time as always, and good luck this weekend.
No worries. Thanks, Gareth.
There's Richard Jolly. So the best there, race 8, number 2, Deep Float Diva. That is Giddy Up. Stable mail for the first hour. We'll carry over to the next hour. We'll catch up with Luke Fernie for the Western Whip Around. Fernie Camp will always play a major part there in Perth on Saturday. Or we're at Pinjarra again, I think, on Saturday. So we'll catch up with Luke. And then we've got Andrew Clark, the boss of harness racing in Queensland. He will join us after the 9 o'clock news as well.
Powered by Signet. Good morning. I'm Nate Gardner with SEN News. The federal opposition leader says she's disappointed more assurances weren't made regarding China's naval exercises in Australian waters, despite PM Anthony Albanese securing a commitment from Beijing to provide more information on drills in the region in reference to Chinese warships firing live rounds off the coast earlier this year. On 9, Susan Lee says that doesn't cut it.
I am disappointed that there wasn't an assurance that we wouldn't have a repeat of that circumnavigation of our coastline, live firing exercises, more than 40 civilian aircraft having to be diverted out of that airspace. It's not good enough.
A new IVF technique has seen eggs produced by 2 donors, with 8 babies born in the United Kingdom using the method. Researchers in Britain, as well as Melbourne's Monash Uni, are behind the breakthrough that reduces the risk of mitochondrial diseases being passed on from mothers. Weather depending, a major search operation is expected to resume in the snowy mountains soon for a missing plane. The light aircraft, with only the pilot on board, left from Wangaratta in Victoria's northeast on Tuesday and never arrived at its destination in New South Wales. German backpacker Carolina Wilger has spent her first night out of hospital after recovering from her outback ordeal. She'd spent 11 nights lost in WA's Wheatbelt region. And a new survey has found Australia is in the top 5 countries with the best health system for dealing with chronic conditions. Up next, SEN Sport. Essendon has made 6 changes for tonight's match against GWS at Marvel Stadium, hoping to snap a 6-game losing streak. The Giants with 3 changes. Jesse Hogan is being rested and Stephen Coniglio is back for his first game since round 3. And stage 11 of the Tour de France has been won by Norway's Jonas Abrahamsen, but Ireland's Ben Healy has retained the yellow leader's jersey.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SENtrack. Giddy up with Gareth Hall. The Western Whip Around. Tune in to Racing WA TV on 7+, your ultimate destination for everything racing in the West.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Busy second hour coming up. We are live from the Home Straight Bistro here at Albion Park, the home of harness racing, as we get set for the biggest night in the sport of harness racing, the finals of the Inter-Dominion. Andrew Clark, the boss of harness racing for RQ, will join me here in the Home Straight Bistro a little later on, along with James Herbertson, who's not far away. Then we'll have an extended version of Giddy Up from 11 to 12 with Facing the Breeze, all thanks to Garrard's Horse and Hound. But it's time now for the Western Whip Around. Tune into Racing WA TV on 7+, your ultimate destination for everything racing in the West. The HG Bolton Sprint's the feature at Bunbury on Saturday. It's a great field, man crush. It will be hard to beat at a good each-way price. Trained by Luke Fernie, and he joins us now on Giddy Up. Good morning to you, Luke.
Hello, mate. How are we?
I am very well. How is Man Crush?
Yeah, good. What price was he? I haven't seen any prices.
I tell you what I'm getting for Man Crush at the moment. He was about, bear with me, he's around $8 each way.
Each way is a good play.
It is. Are you confident with him?
I think his trial was fair, but he's an older horse now.
$8.50 I'm giving. $8.50 I'm giving you. Yeah.
Even better. He looked after himself in the trial, being on a wet track, but shades will go on Saturday, and he'll certainly fire up. He's won in stakes class before in a similar sort of race, so he should be very competitive with a good rider on.
How do you think the conditions, what will they be like there at Bunbury Saturday?
Yeah, very ordinary, I'd imagine. The track's got the hammering, which is probably one thing that might not work in his favour. I don't know how he'll get through it, but we're pretty restricted to races that a horse like him can go into this time of year, and just got to grit our teeth and hope that he can push through it.
What's your gut feel with him handling a bit of give in the ground? And it's a difficult one because we had a chat to Willie Pike there on Monday, and Peter Anthony, who does our form for WA Racing, he says there were just some horses that you thought would handle the heavy track that didn't there at Bunbury the other day.
Yeah, I mean, it's just horses for courses at the moment.
Yeah.
Some horses that can't pick their feet up in summertime run last, and they can come out and look like they're winks through winter, which is obviously, horses that love the wet. And I feel as though I don't think he's a superstar, and he never has been, but he's grinded his wins that he's got to, and I mean, he's nearly earned $1 million over here, and that's a pretty good effort for a horse to earn in WA. And I think he's got that through just having a crack, so I can't imagine that changing on Saturday.
He's a bloody superstar if I earned him. If you earned close to $1 million, Man Crush. What about these 2-year-olds? They've got some promise, I reckon. Ripper Rupert and Slip the Jab, who go around in that first race over the 1,000.
Ripper Rupert will most likely need to run. He's probably a little bit tubby, but he's going good enough to send to the races. And I feel as though Slip the Jab is a really fast sort of 2-year-old, early 3-year-old type now that he should jump, run, and give him plenty to chase.
And then you've got some chances in the middle part of the meeting. Nicely played Sunshine Tafe, Desert Whisper in race 6, and Miss Flirtatious in race 6 as well. Any standouts there?
Desert Whisper's airborne at the moment. She won very easy last Saturday, and we'll put her on the quick backup, so we'll hope that she can handle that. She's only a small filly, but her wins have been super impressive. Miss Flirtatious is going unreal. She's got a really good first-up record, so we've got a strong hand in that race. It'll just be dependent on how fast they go in front.
All right, Luke, if I gave you $100, what would you do with it this weekend?
I'd be back and Slip the Jab each way. I reckon he'll come up some sort of price in the 2-year-old race. He'll make his own luck out in front.
I reckon you tipped Slip the Jab to us at its first start and all went wrong, I reckon.
It got beaten 33 lengths, yeah. I remember.
Yeah, it was an avalanche for money for it as well after Luke Fernie gave it the push, but we can redeem ourselves here. Slip the Jab, well, you can anyway. Race 1, number 6, 100 straight out or 50 each way?
Yeah. No, we'll go straight out, mate. Yeah,
good on you, brother. Yeah, I know. Good on you, brother. Thanks for that, mate. There's Luke Fernie. That's the Western Whip Around. James Herbertson to join me next here. This is Giddy Up Live, a special Giddy Up Live from the Home Straight Bistro at Albion Park as we get set for Inter Dominion night, Saturday night at the home of harness racing.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SENTrack. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. We're live from the Home Straight Bistro at Albion Park as we get set for the Interdominion, the holy grail of harness racing, and one of the young guns of the sport is James Herbertson, and he will play a major part come Saturday night. He's got a great drive in the final of the Interdominion Pacers final with a star mare and Recaro Rebel, and he joins me now. G'day, James.
Morning, Gareth.
How's things, mate?
Not too bad, not too bad. Had an early enough night last night.
Yep.
And we've got a busy day again today.
So you're representing, not only are you driving in the big races Saturday night, but you're representing Victoria in the Junior Drivers' Championship, and basically you can't get beat. You've dominated the early part of this competition.
No, we can still get beat.
Can you?
It's not mathematically impossible,
No.
but we just got to be consistent and just keep driving them, to finish as close as possible. So, I think we've got some decent drivers on Friday night, and I think Saturday night's one might be a little bit out of class, but try and make the most of what we've got tomorrow night.
Do you enjoy these type of series?
Yeah, I do. They're great young people from all over the country, and I'd probably never get to meet the Kiwis if if it wasn't for these series. And they're just incredible blokes. It's been great fun and plenty of laughs, and it's a pleasure to be a part of.
And have you based yourself up here in Queensland for the last 3 weeks, or you've been up and down? You've been up and down, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been up and down. Yeah, been getting around a little bit. Tassie on Sunday and that sort of thing as well. So it's been pretty full on, but it's been it's what we drive for. It's
been a tough time for yourself, many in the industry, with the passing of Greek Sugars, and then after the funeral, you went back to the States and spent some time in Europe as well. What did you learn from that experience?
Oh, plenty. We could sit here for an hour and talk about all the little things, but it's just 1%ers with driving, and from a training point of view, it doesn't really matter how you train them. Jürgen Westholm taught me that. The stuff he does is just mind-boggling, and he was.
Give us an example.
Oh, you go out to do jog work, and you jog them around figure eights with a diameter of about 5 metres. Like, they just in and out, and then we go over and walk through probably 100 metres of fencing posts, just walk in and out of them with the bikes on, and you're nearly getting tipped out, and it's all happening. But it's just something different, and he finds it works. And next year, if I happen to go back for whatever reason, he might be doing something different. He's he's a.
So what's his philosophy there?
Well,
and we're talking about the training you're talking.
The training, yeah. Look, his philosophy in terms of going in and out and going left and right is these horses come out of the mare turning left.
Okay.
So as much as you can turn right in their work and keep them square, they'll go straighter.
Yeah. And the drivers in Europe and America, what did you take out of that experience?
Yeah, look, the American drivers are very professional.
Yeah.
As you probably saw a little bit of with the likes of Dexter and Yannick when they come over.
Yeah.
With the Ultimate drivers, and but the racing over there is extremely aggressive, and it's just high speed racing, and it's just completely different to what I'm used to in Melbourne anyway. It's probably a little bit more like Menangle and up here, but the way we race in Melbourne is definitely not like they race.
From a skill set point of view, do you have to be more skillful in America, or do you have to be more skillful here?
I think it's different skills.
Yeah.
Here it's more, tactics and positioning and tempo. You can't afford to go too quick. Whereas over there, you got to be aggressive, and then you've got to. It's about positioning as well, but a lot of the time, I think the better horses do win the races in terms of being able to make a move and still be there at the finish.
Yeah, and then. Will you go back to the States? What's your plans going forward, or is Victoria home now for a while anyway?
It'll be home for a while. Yeah, we'll just see how it goes. Victorian racing's, as we know, is probably not on the upward spiral. It's gradually declining, and that'll sort of be what guides me as in my future in a way. And I've got no plans. We'll just keep ticking along. I've been helping Jess since I've been back, and. Her team's airborne, and it's been quite enjoyable. She's doing a great job under the circumstances, and it's been pretty good since I've been back.
Yeah, Lara J Farm Have you taken any of the techniques you learned in Sweden back to Lara J Farm?
No. Greg's he sort of sorted the place out and worked out all the little things and changed little things, and their work is completely different to work you do anywhere else in the world. So he knew what he was doing.
Just on Lara J Farm and the work that Jess and Craig Demler, I think, it's done there since the passing of Greg. It has been remarkable, really, to see the show go on and the business continue to have success after such heartbreak.
Yeah, it's just a credit to them. They've been so strong throughout it all, and we got a Metropolitan Double there a few weeks back, and the horses just felt like incredible. So, from a driving point of view, they're doing absolutely all they can to get them right for me, and the results were showing that.
Have you found it a little bit different? You work for your old man and did a lot of work. We've talked to you on several occasions here on Giddy Up, and you've been working horses as we've been talking to you. But have you enjoyed, I guess, working with some better horses there at Lara J Farm?
Yeah, definitely better horses, but it's, my old man's the only person I've really ever worked for on like a full-time basis. So, going and working for someone else and learning all their different ways of doing things, it's sort of like starting from the start again. So, I still haven't got their work down pat in terms of what they do. It's completely different to a lot of people. So it's been a big learning curve, and quite enjoying it.
Do you admire what the late great Greg Sugars did then with working all those horses alongside Jess and then going out and being a full-time driver as well?
Oh, absolutely. It's so full on and building the place as well. They've started from scratch there and, built it up to what it is now. And if you were I'm sure you've probably been there. It's quite incredible, the tracks and the way he's worked out the tracks and how to work them on the tracks of different horses, whether they be bleeders or young horses, trotters, pacers. He had success every age group, every gate right through. So it just shows the incredible horseman that he was.
What's it mean to you, and along with Jess and the team there at Lara J, to have a runner in the Inter-Dominion final with Riquera Rebel?
Yeah, we spoke about it sort of at the start of the series, and she just wanted to get one in the final for him. We have to be realistic and say she's not as good as Leap to Fame. There's no doubt about that. No. But it's just a thing of getting one into the final, and we got the mare in. She was super throughout. She had a lot of problems heading in. She didn't get the right sort of run under her belt at Melton the start before she come up, and then she tied up a bit on her, and she's just had plenty go wrong.
Yeah.
We drew well first week. Second week we didn't draw well, which made life difficult. But to get one in, it's just it's great for Jess. It just shows what she's capable of, and with Greg being sort of the front man in terms of Lara J Farm and being the star driver he was, Jess was sort of the trainer, but they didn't really know that she was the one, when he was away and that sort of thing. And now putting the polish on him, and it's quite incredible.
I think Greg,
sitting behind them.
Yeah, I think Greg made that point, especially when I interviewed him after the success of big races, that Jess played a crucial part, and especially for a lot of those horses, she had the key to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What do you do from gate 2?
We won't be doing too much early. The more we use early, the less we have late. I think Leap to Fame will have enough gate speed. You can't have a champion horse like that with no gate speed.
I don't think he has too much gate speed, James.
I just don't think he's really...
You hold the key to this race. We better get this on camera. So, do you drive... For me, I thought you might come out of the gate and then be a chance for Grant to get off the fence. But if you're not going to come out of the gate, there's a strong possibility. And I guess if I'm a driver driving against Leap to Fame, he's the horse to beat. The only way to beat him is to make sure that he doesn't get out of a pocket. Mm-hmm. And you've got the opportunity to make sure he doesn't get off the fence at the start.
Yep.
Are you confident that you can do that?
Yeah, well, we'll just be holding a spot. That's plain and simple.
He can't push you out then, can he? No. So he's not $1.10. He's not $1.10 hope with, when you talk like that. And I think that's going to be fascinating to the race. It's the worst possible draw for the champ, isn't it?
It is, but if every other horse in the race would have bent over backwards to have the draw he's had,
If he could trade it, he would. Because gate 8, at least with gate 8, just explain that to our listeners. A lot of the thoroughbred listeners are listening as well. So if you're drawn gate 8, you can easily go back to last and come off the fence.
Yeah, you can come off. You can sort of hang back a little bit at the start enough without breaking the rule. But generally, you can get off at some point, And a lot of horses, especially in these races, they duck to the fence, so there's holes opening up as well. So you would have seen that in the second heat. he was able to get off the fence without really going back.
No.
But
gate one's harder because you've got to, sort of like you're driving, you can't back because you've got a car behind you. Yep. So you can, and it's gate 2 that keeps him in that pocket basically. If you don't come out of the gate and keep level with him, it's nearly impossible for Dixon unless he does do something against the rules in a way.
Yep.
So that'll be fascinating. And then we've got to work out the speed map. Probably Don Hugo will get to the front eventually.
Yeah, you'd think so. You know, he had a torrid trip in that second heat. You know, the only horse in the country that's about to sit outside that sort of tempo that's racing right now is Leap to Fame. So, you know, Swayze would be able to do it, but he's not here. So, you know,
no,
without a bit of cover in that sort of tempo, it was brutal.
It's going to be a lot of fun then.
It is, but you know, I think he will have enough gate speed. I just don't think he's lit him up yet.
Well, I've watched him on several occasions, and it looks like he takes a little while to get into fifth gear, and he could have to get wind him up at the start. But there is some pace drawn to his outside, like See Your Art and a few others can come out humming. So I think that's the fascinating part of the race. And we might get $1.30 now. Because I thought you would come out the gate. That's what I was thinking, that you'd try and cross.
Well, all of their best races have been when
yeah, and I completely understand that, yeah. So, bring it on now. And I think that's what makes the Inter-Dominion for mine growing up was the Holy Grail, Jimmy.
Oh, it is, absolutely.
But it was a great test of the horse. It's a great test for the driver, because if the driver makes a mistake in a heat, then it could cost you a final. And I think Adam Sanderson was very lucky in the Trotters series with Oscar Bonavina to get him to qualify. And then you've got the test of the trainer to make sure your horse is ready to go each and every start, and then peaking on grand final day. And of course you need a little bit of luck.
And an awful lot of luck.
An awful lot of luck. Can she win if he can't get out?
I think it opens the race up significantly, but the chances of him getting locked in, I think, are very minimal. You know, someone won't want to be parked the whole race, or parked for the sake of betting Leap to Fame. You know, they're still out there to earn as much money as they can. So
100%.
You got to look at it from that tactical point of view as well. But
there's no real breeze horse, is there?
not particularly. It's just going to be a very interesting tactical race, as it should be.
As it should be. Bring it on. How's Better Eclipse going?
He's going really good, the old horse. You know, he's going really good. He he trailed up pretty good, and he just missed out on sneaking in his first emergency. But he hasn't had as much racing as he's probably used to in the last bit. He's had a few issues. You know, he's not getting any younger, and but he's still racing pretty solid for the horse he is. Yeah,
he's a good chance he could even find the front, or maybe Beach Ball want to try and hold the front, but he won't be far away either.
No, he's honest, mate. You know, he'll still put up a good race, I'm sure.
And Eurocash, you would have driven Eurocash. Was he a Victorian trotter?
I think he was, but I don't think I drove him.
No. He's got the pole draw for Graham Dewey. He might have to be a chance in that ninth race.
Yeah, look, I've had about 3 different drives off Graham in that race. I hope he's listening. He's chopped and changed drivers about 10 times. He apologised last night, but he's put me back on one. So, I'm not too sure about that one, but I picked up one in the Derby for Grant. So
yeah, Demon Blue.
Yeah, I don't know much about it.
He's trying to probably get into your good books before the Inter-Dominion final. Has to be in each way. You'll need a little bit of luck, Demon Blue. That's a good race. Hesitates drawn the pole, and then you've got one for Chantel and the Queensland Oaks and Nilla Marie.
Okay,
yep. So I think she needs a lot of luck, but it's a great night, isn't it? I think Queensland have done extremely well with the Inter-Dominion's the holy grail of the sport, but then you add in a Rising Sun, a proto star for the 2-year-olds, features around the Inter-Dominion. It just makes it a great carnival.
Yeah, the carnival overall, you couldn't ask much more from a harness racing enthusiast point of view, and someone that's actually involved in it. This week's been great. They've done a super job, as they did last time I was up here with the junior driver trip, and you look at what Racing Queensland, the way they've sort of built it up, and this area up here, even it's perfect for looking over the track and watching the horses go. So, I don't think they could do much more up here.
No. What about some of those young drivers that you didn't know too much about, you're competing against that surprised you a little bit? Everyone I talk to say Jet Turnbull's the next superstar.
No, he's very good. He's very good. You can't take anything away from him there. He's about 3 foot tall and about 20 kilos, but he knows what he's doing on the track.
Yeah. All right then, mate. Hey, we wish you the best of luck. Well done so far in the Drivers' Championship, the Junior Drivers' Championship, and surely we've already got a slot because we got Angus Garrard. I'll have to ask my man Andrew Clark as well why Angus wasn't in the Junior Drivers' Championship representing Queensland after he took on the world's best and got the chocolates. So SENTrack have got. We've got a slot, but surely we can work out something for you, James.
Yeah, no, I've had a couple of people come up and see if I was interested. So
you are interested?
I'm interested.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I'll be up here next year.
It'll be bigger and better, I reckon. This year.
It'll be amazing. We've sort of been speaking about during the week. The worldwide sort of interest that it gained without them really knowing what it was, but now knowing what it was, I think it'll be pretty big.
Yeah. And if I was you, I'd probably invest in yourself and then get a team around you. You've got 20,000 in your back pocket these days, James. Hey, we wish you the best of luck, mate. Well done with everything you've done.
Thank you.
Recently. I know it's been tough, but you've been a great ambassador for the game, and it's great to see you support Lara J Farm, and it would be fitting if they have success. And I reckon they've already had success. I reckon Jess is a big winner with everything that she's been through to have a finalist into Dominion with a mare like Ricara Rebel, and I reckon G Sugars upstairs would be looking down very proud.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd be pretty happy with that.
Yep, good on you, mate. There's James Herbertson there. We'll take a break. Andrew Clark, the boss of Harness Racing for RQ, will join me next.
Powered by Signet, making SEN News headlines. Anthony Albanese announces Chengdu in China Southwest will host a wildcard playoff tournament for next year's Australian Open. Cricket Australia's new CEO, Todd Greenberg, is tightening the belt in his first few months in the job, with 15 staff members axed. Donald Trump is on the offensive, lashing out at his supporters that are upset over his handling of the Epstein files, that the US president is calling a hoax. A new stats show the birth rate has declined in Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane. Coming up, sen.com.au sport. Essendon has made 6 changes for tonight's match against GWS at Marvel Stadium, hoping to snap a 6-game losing streak. The Giants with 3 changes, Jesse Hogan is being rested and Stephen Coniglio is back for his first game since round 3. And stage 11 of the Tour de France has been won by Norway's Jonas Abrahamsen, but Ireland's Ben Healy has retained the yellow leader's jersey.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SENtrack. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back
to this week's wrap-up of Bunnings Tradio. With plenty of live sport.
It was great to catch up with James Herbertson, who does hold the key in this year's pacing.
Welcome to this week's wrap-up of Bunnings Tradio. With plenty of live sport to update tradies on throughout the week, few captured more of an audience than Australia's domination of the West Indies
and whether he can hold a forward spot and not get buried back on the inside. Now, he's been able to get off the fence when he's drawn tricky gates like Gate 1 in the past. But if James Herbert...
Welcome to this week's wrap-up of Bunnings Tradio. With plenty of live sport to update tradies on throughout the week, View captured more of an audience than Australia's domination of the West Indies on day 3 of the third test.
It will be fascinating.
We ensured that the latest scores were given to our listeners right up to the final seconds of our broadcast.
If James said he wanted to
Despite Australia's 3-0 series win, the future of the Test side generated plenty of discussion, which included one of the calls of the week from SEN regular Margaret from Sunbury.
The new boss, he's been the boss for half.
And as the mornings get colder for our tradies around the country, we decided to pump them up this week by asking tradies to shout out those who they can always...
Now you replace David Brick, who's in a different role.
And as the mornings get colder for our tradies around the country, we decided to pump them up this week by asking tradies to shout out those who they can always rely on to get the job done on the work site.
Anything that I need, I can always...
Bunnings Tradio was heard right across Australia on SEN's metro stations, including SEN 1116 AM in Melbourne, SEN 1170 AM in Sydney, SENQ 693 AM in Brisbane, and regional radio stations, the SEN app, and in Bunnings stores.
Over the last couple of years, we've obviously made a couple of changes to the Inter-Dominion from when it was here in summer back in December 23. The bonus point system, I think, has been a really good initiative. Can't claim any responsibility for that because it was done before I arrived.
Yeah.
But the idea of it was to get the best horses into the final, given it was a shortened series rather than 3 sets of heats, 2 sets of heats. And it worked out that way with Oscar managing to scrape through. So I think it did what it was set out to do.
Do you think, do you have to have a look at, you're talking about Oscar Bonavena qualifying because of the bonus. Yep. Do you have to look back at that rule next year? Because I think that it can be manipulated pretty easily, can't it?
We do have some conditions in there to make sure that it's not manipulated.
So
if someone gains an unfair advantage, then they don't get bonus points.
Okay, so if London to a brick, he galloped at the start, and James Rattray just walked around, then sprinted the last half, that wouldn't count. He has to chase.
It would then be up to the stewards to have a look at that and make sure that he hasn't gained an unfair
So there's
advantage.
Conditions there. You 100%.
Can't. We made sure that we covered that off with Derek.
Yeah, because I just think sometimes Oscar Bonavena, he's great that he's in the race, and I think it's terrific for the race, and it would be a crying shame if he wasn't. Yeah. But he had his chance to pull out there on the first night, and he didn't. And then he galloped and interfered with a few horses there on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then he runs a quick mile and then qualifies.
Yeah.
I find that he's just extremely lucky to be in it.
Look, he is lucky.
Because you may as well not have heats then if you can have a horse do that. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, they've still got to perform to a certain degree in both heats. And look, it's something that we'll have a look at after the series and just make sure that horses aren't getting unfairly treated. And I don't know, maybe if somebody interferes with another horse, then that has some impact. But I just felt on the surface, looking at it, it was a very good initiative, and we're happy that we've got the finals that we've got.
I think that with only the 2 heats, you need to have something like that because draws and luck can play a part. But we always need a little bit of luck, don't we, in the Inter-Dominion? And people talking about this anyway adds intrigue to the race. And I've got a feeling because he's trained by Mark Purdon, and I think Adam Sanderson's a very good driver as well. He did have that bad night that bad drive on him in the first heat. But he's my tip, Oscar Bonavena. I just think that. And I've seen it on so many occasions that Mark Purdon, especially when he gets to work with the horse for 3 weeks, he just has them cherry ripe for a final.
He's just a genius.
Yeah, he's a genius. So after all and that's what makes the Inter-Dominion as well, the controversies, the ups and downs, the performances, that the drama that the Inter-Dominion provides, and it's the only race series, I think, in any code that can produce the drama like it can.
Yeah, I agree. And look, going back to 2 sets of heats rather than 3, I think in the past we've seen with 3 sets of heats you can get some very boring heat racing because people know that they've only just got to bowl around and get placings just around the placings, and they're going to get through. If they win the first night of heats, they don't necessarily have to go out and bust their horse, and that's fair enough. As horsemen, they want to have their horses right for the final. So compacting it a little bit, I think, has provided a different challenge for the trainers, and it's provided some more exciting racing.
Yeah. Hey, stay with us. I've got to take a break. We'll come back with more. I want to ask you about Leap to Fame and the impact he's having on the sport of harness racing, not only in this state, but from a national basis. So stay with us, Andrew. Andrew Clark, the boss of harness racing in Queensland, joining us here live at the Home Straight Bistro, the new bistro that's come up a treat here at Albion Park as we get set for Inter Dominion Finals night.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SENtrack. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up, all thanks to Bet365. You can watch us live on our streaming on our SEN app and Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can listen to us on your local SENtrack dial or the SEN app. And we are live from the Home Straight Bistro, this new renovated part of Albion Park. It's a beautiful bistro now. Terrific feed we had last night, and it will be packed on Saturday night for the Inter-Dominion. Andrew Clark, the head of harness racing at Racing Queensland's with me, and we're just talking about Leap to Fame, or about to talk about Leap to Fame and the impact that he's had on the sport. Can you put that into numbers for us, or the importance of a horse like Leap to Fame for an industry like harness racing?
I think he has a huge impact. I mean, we see here when he comes and races here on a Saturday night when he's leading up to big races, the crowd does swell. So he's bringing people on track. There are people probably a little bit outside of harness racing, gallops trainers, who will come and watch him. Tony Gollan was here on track last week. So he's attracting people from all over to come and watch the sport. He's a fantastic advertisement for harness racing.
Yeah. And how's turnover been with Leap to Fame? Like, can you see an increase in turnover because of the champ?
Look, it's really interesting. You'd think with very short price favourites, $1.10 favourites, that punters wouldn't be so interested in races like that, but we've consistently found that his races have been either the top or the second best turnover races of the night.
Yeah. And so what about the turnover throughout the carnival?
It's been really good. So comparing Inter-Dominion 23 with Inter-Dominion 25 so far, numbers are up a few percent. So, yeah, that's all looking very positive.
Yeah, that is exciting then. So with harness racing, how have you found the turnover in general?
We're seeing green shoots.
Oh, that's unbelievable, yeah.
It's, look, nothing to get up and start partying about just yet, but the signs that we're seeing are positive.
Can you compare them to the other codes in Queensland?
The greyhounds have traditionally been pretty good. Thoroughbreds have been okay as well. I think across the board we're starting to see just those first signs that things are starting to turn a little bit.
Which is important because wagering is the lifeblood of all industries when it comes to racing. And since COVID, it's been on a downfall. But you think that we've hit rock, like we've bottomed out, and we can start to climb again, or at least level out, so the administrators can go, okay, then this is what we expect from now on.
Yeah, I think that's sort of where we're at.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that we should rest on our laurels and stop trying to promote the sports and turnover, because, as you say, we're a turnover-based model up here, so it's critical that we attract new punters to the sport and continue to service the punters that we already have.
And this carnival, I think that, like, RQ should be applauded for it. They're thought outside of the square. They've introduced a few new races, and they've been able to get some of the biggest names of the sport here at once to compete over 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's fantastic. As Herbie was saying before, the Protostar, the Hayden leading into that. We've had the Rising Sun, Oaks, Derbies, Redcliffe Cup. It's a more compact carnival now. We've even had races out at Marburg as part of the carnival. But I think what it has done is it's put the spotlight on Queensland harness racing. Yeah. And the harness racing up here has really stood up to the spotlight. Well,
we appreciate you coming on, mate. Well done with everything, and it's a success story if you can see those turnover figures going up and you get more eyeballs on the sport of harness racing, and it does help when you've got, in my eyes, the greatest pacer that we've ever seen in Leap to Fame. And just having James Herbertson, what's your thoughts there with Herb talking up the game to try to keep Grant on the fence with Leap to Fame?
I think it does put an interesting twist on the race. We haven't seen Leap to Fame ever really pushed out, but I think we will this week. I think Grant's probably pretty keen on holding that lead. So I don't know. Let's see. There's a little bit of pace from outside. So yeah, if he does happen to get boxed in, then it's going to make it a very interesting race.
It's been an amazing Inter-Dominion because if Leap to Fame drew 4, 5, 2, anywhere but one, it would be $1.01 basically. He can't get beat. But if he's drawn the pole, it makes it a little bit interesting that there's a chance he could get buried. And he either draws 1 or 8 in these Inter-Dominion heats. And 8's a tough draw for him, but he can get off the fence because he's the last, so he can easily ease back and then go back to last and go around him if he has to. Gate 1, if he does get in a tricky spot, he can't do that.
Yeah.
And you can't push out like you can do in Perth, can you?
No, very true. But he's a champion. He's the best horse that I've ever seen.
Yes.
And if anyone can find a way, it'll be Grant.
He can't jump over them, however.
No,
he's the greatest horse I've seen, but I've never seen him jump over one. But we'll see if he can do that on Saturday. Good on you. Thanks for that, Andrew.
Thanks, Gav.
Andrew Clark, the head of harness racing at Racing Queensland. Time for a break. Giddy Up's bag of tips next. We are live from the Home Straight Bistro, and you can see the champ leap to fame here at Albion Park on Saturday night. Just get to Albion Park in Brisbane, or you can watch him on Sky Racing and Sky Thoroughbred Central. Have got the coverage as well, and you can listen to him if you're in the car on SENTrack. We'll take a break, and we'll come back with plenty more, including bag of tips next.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SENtrack. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. The Giddy Up Bag of Tips for Oz Equipment Rentals. Supplying equipment to the construction, mining and roadworks industries. OzEquipment.com.
Time to find you a few winners with Bag of Tips. All thanks to the Alderma Hotel in the heart of the Mallee, just down the road from Swan Hill. Swing by for a cold beer. Oz Equipment Rentals, supplying equipment to the construction, mining and roadworks industries. OzEquipment.com. And with Bet365 Top Tote Plus, you get the best payout across all 3 national totes. Imagine what you could be buying instead for free and confidential support. Visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Let's see if we can find you a few winners today. And we'll start off with Mitchie Lewis likes race 6, number 4, White Bear at Cranbourne. So race 6, number 4, White Bear. Luke Ovanessian at Kemmler Grange likes race 2, number 5, Wah Wah Wah. Race 5, number 4, Mr. Antares. So that's at Kemmler Grange. It's Grafton Cup Day in the northern part of New South Wales. Race 2, number 10, Dernier Lane. Race 4, number 1, Albany Road. Race 5, number 17, Trianza. And race 7, number 9, Don Diego de Vega. So race 7, number 9, Don Diego de Vega. Darren Carroll at the Trots tonight likes race 1, number 2, Elated. And race 8, number 1, Shot in the Dark. So race 1, number 2, race 8, number 1 at Kilmore tonight. And Amanda Rando, thanks to Harness Racing New South Wales, likes race 3, number 4, race 4, number 6, and race 5, number 8. Doug's Flame, Lasting Memory in Cianola. Toddy Gray joins us. G'day, Todd.
How are we doing, mate? Are you keeping warm?
Yes. No, it's beautiful in Queensland, mate. So we've got our T-shirts on. We're right to go. But how did we back a winner at Angle Park?
Just the 2 races tonight, matey. Race 9, number 2, Big Chief Size. He was our best bet last week. Painless watch. Hopefully it can go again. It's virtually the same field. The draw's the same. The key is we need to beat the one out. If the one holds us out from the rails, then it's probably game on. If we can cut straight to the inside and lead again like last week, that should be curtains. The 4 Dogs a favourite in this race. I reckon it can get squeezed a little bit going to the first turn. The 5.95 is a corner start, and the 6 and the 8 will probably lean on it a bit. If we lead, that should be game, set, and match. So that's my best bet of the night. Race 9, number 2, Big Chief Size. Best bet number 2, race 10, number 1, Oscar Intention. There's a race out there for every dog, and tonight is finally Oscar's turn. He's placed four of his last 5. He finally has the draw. Box 1, that's what he needs. He's got a slow beginner in 2, a bit of a wide runner in 3, so he's going to get every chance to be able to boot through to the first turn and hold a decent spot. He jumped well last week, albeit in a 5-dog field. This is a full field, but I can't see why. We probably won't lead to the first turn, but we can hold the inside, bury up and find the front, probably down the back straight, and he runs home in solid time. So that's good tonight, matey. Race 9, number 2. Race 10, number 1.
Good on you, Toddy. That is Giddy Up, thanks to Oz Equipment Rentals and, of course, the Alderma Hotel and Bet365.
Powered by Signet, good morning. I'm Nath Gardner with SEN News. Next year's Tour Down Under in South Australia will see Henley Beach host a stage start for the first time, with Nairn to host their first stage finish. Riders push off from January 20 with a twilight lead-in event taking riders from the heart of Adelaide CBD to Victoria Park. Cricket Australia's new CEO, Todd Greenberg, is tightening the belt in his first few months in the job. 15 staff members have been axed and the head of the national teams removed from the executive team. Israel has carried out more airstrikes on Syria. The UN Secretary-General condemning the attacks on the presidential palace and defence ministry in Damascus. Antonio Guterres calling for an immediate cessation of all violations of Syria's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Donald Trump has lashed out at his own supporters, calling them weaklings and stupid for demanding the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. The FBI says no such client list exists, but the backlash from the US president's MAGA base continues to grow.
It's all been a big hoax that's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net. I call it the Epstein hoax.
The Prime Minister has visited the Great Wall of China on the final leg of his 6-day tour. Anthony Albanese will today visit a panda breeding research centre and cochlear implant manufacturing facility. And Coca-Cola has reportedly agreed to stop using corn syrup in its drinks sold in the US, replacing it with cane sugar. Up next, SEN Sport. For the first time since last year's high-profile trade, GWS forward Jake Stringer will face his former side Essendon when the sides kick off round 19 tonight. Aussie quick Scott Boland's hat-trick at the West Indies has shot him into the ICC's top 10 bowling rankings. And in Super Netball, the Adelaide Thunderbirds and Melbourne Vixens are ramping up training ahead of Sunday's semi-final clash.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SENtrack. Giddy up with Gareth Hall. It's now time for the weekend preview with Mick Gannon, Dean Watling and Mitch Lewis.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. We are live from Brisbane today in the Home Straight Bistro at Albion Park as we get set for into Dominion night. We've got an extended version of Giddy Up with Facing the Breeze, thanks to Garrett Torson Hound, coming up between 11 and 12. But let's try and find you a few winners this weekend. We're racing at Flemington and at Rose Hill. And Mitchy Lewis is going to kick off proceedings for the weekend preview on this Thursday morning, looking at this meeting at Flemington on Saturday. So it's great to be back at headquarters there for another meeting in winter. Hello to you, Mitchy.
Yeah, morning, G. How are you this morning?
Good, thank you. We're on a soft 5. The rail's out 3 metres the entire circuit. It played pretty fair the other day, I reckon, when it was in the true. How do you expect it to play come Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, it's Flemington, isn't it? Probably on that improving side on the soft, even with a bit of rain around. We know how well it dries. Just having a look now, we haven't seen it in the 3 metre position for a while. I think just off the top of my head, it was sometime similar time to this 12 months ago. There it is. Yeah, 20th of July. So, it'll play fairly. You'll get your chance. Maybe down the straight, you want to be a little bit wide depending on how wet it gets, but everyone gets their chance at Flemington.
So if you like your Quinellas, exactas, trifectas, first fours and quaddies this Saturday with Bet365, you'll be paid out at the highest national tote for all exotics at Caulfield, Randwick, Doomben, Murray Bridge and Bunbury. Now that's 45 races because it's never ordinary at Bet365. Selected meetings and eligible customers only. Terms and conditions apply. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. We might have a look at the quaddie leagues come Saturday at Flemington. And it's at 9 races. The first race is over the 1,200 metres down the straight. Lafracus has been in great winning form, but Lafracus is a galloper that needs a little bit of give in the ground. Whether it'll be too dry for him, time will tell. He's at $2.80. The Burger Rack at $6. Moby Dick at $7. Eye of the Fire does go to Flemington. He was dual nominated. He's at $8. And Great Maximus, Richard Jolly gave him a good each-way push this morning at $12. And then we go to Dazzling Lucy at $13. Moonhaven at $17. Lafracus has drawn the inside down the straight, but it's a solid favourite still, Mitchy Lewis.
Yeah, and he rates really well in this field. Like, it sort of almost looks his race to lose, but I'm a little bit with you on what you mentioned, G. How are the conditions going to be? He comes off 2 heavy tracks, 2 wins in a row. I'm sort of pivoting from him, just at a price point of view here. I'm going to go with a horse that he beat last start in De Bergerac. So a few little changes here. I just double-checked. Tommy Preble on. Racing Australia says he can ride the 52.5. So last start, De Bergerac had 59.5 and Lafracca had 58. So a huge weight swing here. Probably preferring the wider draw down the straight as well. So third up here, De Bergerac, I think just looks the value in the race. Lafracca, high rating races so far this prep, but just first time down the straight and other things like that, G. Not first time down the straight, sorry. But just probably pivoting the more value way in this race.
So which way are you going? You're going, of course, for the second favourite here.
De
for
Bergerac.
The Graham Beak camp. De Bergerac, $6, $2.25 there with Bet365. Then we go to the Dean Lester Flemington Cup. This is a race that the great late Dean Lester always wanted over the 2,800 metres. And Muktamil at 440 is the favourite. It's been in good staying form this prep. Mormona was the best for the Archibalds, including, according to Rob. It's at $4.80. Bold Souls never far away. He's at $5. Samuel Longhorn at $7. Loft has been consistent over the jumps and on the flat for the Jacksons at $12. Virtue Circles at $12. Hopeful at $16. True Marvel at $19. Double Cherry at $19 here. How do you read the Flemington Cup, the Dean Lester Flemington Cup, Mitchie?
They're always tricky this time of year, aren't they, G? Because they're sort of these mixing in form lines. They almost take turns. Look, I read the race. I think they're going to go along pretty quick. Horses like True Marvel, Hopeful probably go along at a reasonable clip, and Samuel Longhorn's capable of doing so as well. I'm sort of referencing the last race where a few of them met over the 2,500 metres that Bold Soul won, and I think Muktamil was hitting the line better than any of them that day. Just run out of room. So I think with the extra 300 metres here today, it probably sets up well for him with the lightweight. So tricky enough betting race, but Muktamil, to me, if it runs up to last start, probably gets its chance.
So it's a $4.40 favourite. Craig Williams rides. And Mormona, what do you make of Mormona's chances there? Robbie Archibald said this is the play of the day for the Archibald team.
Yeah, I reckon it's of the Annabelle and Rob Archibald chances, probably the one I'd prefer to be with. Sets up nice from barrier 1. That was my probably only knock, is you wouldn't want to get shuffled too far back, but I think with the speed in the race, it'll settle in a handy enough position. So it's in my numbers, in my quaddie, but leaning the way of the lightweight chance, Muktamil.
Let's have a look at race number 8, and you've got Sayedade Sadati that was impressive there the other day. Now stays at the 2,000 metres here. He's around $4.80. Glory Days at $6 the stablemate. Relentless Voyager at $8.50. Casino 17 was a run and a half first up for the Bedgegood camp at $9.50. Milford, he was scratched the other day. He's at $10. The drying conditions is going to suit him. He's at $10. And Nelly Laylack's at $10. Flash Feelings at $13. Charterhouse at $15 here. How do you work out this race? He was good, I thought, the other day, Sayedade Sadati.
I think, G, if he's figured it out, like he's been building to that sort of run, hadn't he? Sort of seconds and thirds in strong races and then came out and won. I think if he holds his form, he'd be hard to beat. I like his race map. There's the speed in the race is drawn well outside him. So Nelly Laylax, maybe even Amberite might have to work. So he probably gets a soft run in up on speed and behind near those. So I think it's hard to jump off him based off that last start run. But I want to have the saver on Casino 17 as well, G, because we mentioned that horse from the Jimmy the Bear race flashed home for second. So second up here, 2,000 metres. I don't want to be losing on that horse after we thought it was one of the run of the races back then in Flemington. No, where's my date? Almost a month ago.
Yeah, I totally agree there. So that's the story in race number 8. What numbers would you have in a quaddie?
What did I have written down? I had the 7 on top, so these are in my order. Sorry, I normally go so 7-1. I threw the 9 Milford in. I thought Flash Feeling was one at odds that I'd probably want to not miss out on. Amberite's interesting, G. There's lots of money for that horse last time, wasn't there? So
yes,
probably throw that in with Glory Days. It's a big leg for me.
Last race, geez, I like Lose Some, Win More, especially if you can get the right set up here, which I think he can from this gate. He was very good after having a little bit of trouble at the start the other day, and that was over the 1,100 metres, but in tougher class. He does have to carry more weight today, and he's at 550, equal favourite with Documentary. He's very good on his day. Documentary's first up. Hardra's at $6. Beast Mode at $8.50. Looked the winner the other day in South Australia. Booney at $10. Rewards and More at $11. Cheers to that at $12. Harry Got Styles at $13. Call to Glory at $20-1. Even race to conclude the program down the straight over the 1,000 here, Mitchie.
Yeah, I'm with you, G. I like the SA horse, Lose Some, Win More. It's been going along in some stronger races, has good form at Flemington down the straight. I think sets up nicely for this horse, the speed map. So Call to Glory, Beast Mode, take him out, go along quick. So Lose Some, Win More, can settle in a nice position. I think probably don't want to get too far back. I think that was the issue at Sandown 2 starts ago over the 1,000. Just flashed home impressively, but gave itself too much to do. So we know Craig Williams is ticking along. So you wouldn't.
We just watched Mitchie there. So
Documentary is one that I want to keep an eye on, G.
We just lost you. You're breaking up a little bit. You there, Mitchie? I think I can see
I've got you. Sorry, G. Yeah, that was just my fault, I think.
Yeah, go on again, mate. What were you saying?
Lose Some, Win More on top. I like the setup for the horse. Documentary is one I'm just watching. I might have a 2-bet play depending on how the track's playing.
Beautiful. So that's a look at the quaddie legs. And if you like your Quinellas, Exactas, Trifectas, First Fours and Quaddies, this Saturday with Bet365, you'll be paid out at the highest national tote for all exotics at Caulfield, Randwick, Doomben, Murray Bridge and Bunbury. That's 45 races because it's never ordinary at Bet365. Now, that's selected meetings and eligible customers only. Terms and conditions apply. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. We'll quickly give our quaddie numbers here for this Flemington card. We'll start off with race 6. You like the burger rack there for Graham Beek and Tommy Preble. So that's 11. What else have you got in the quaddie?
I would be throwing in the 2 Great Maximus G, and the other one I thought worth it was the 6 Moby Dick.
So 2, 6, 11. You're putting Lafracus in, the favourite?
Yes, sorry. 2, 6, 8, 11.
Beautiful. And then we go to the Dean Lester Flemington Cup. Muktamil, the 14's the favourite. Mormone, I would imagine the 8 and 14 are going in.
Yep, we're going to throw the 8 and 14 in. I didn't mind the chances of the 4 Bold Soul, obviously coming off a win last time as well. That'll probably nearly do me, G. I think those are the 3 in the market. I think they'll battle it out.
Then race 8, which is League 3, Sayadati Sadati. So you got the 1, Casino 17, who you like each way, and Sayadati Sadati. Yep. Anything else there that you want to add?
So this was our bigger leg. I'm going to throw the 5 in. Then we were going to throw the 9 Milford in, and the 12 Flash Feeling.
And then the final leg, Lose Some, Win More is the favourite along with Documentary. We're both keen on the 2 here.
Yep. I'd nearly be happy just go 2 and 12, G.
Beautiful. I agree there. Documentary, the other one for Nick Ryan and Benny Mellum. So 2, 6, 8, 11 first leg, 8, 4, 14 second leg, 1, 5, 7, 9, 12 third leg, and then home with 2 horses, the 2 and the 12 in that final leg. Hey, Mitchie, we'll take a break. We'll come back and have a look at some of the early races there at Flemington. And then we'll take a look at the feature race at Morphettville on the Parks track on Saturday with the running of the size over the 1400.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SENtrack. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. Thanks to Bet365. We're streaming live every day on the SEN app, our YouTube channel, and also our Facebook page. Mitchy Lewis is joining us. We just went through the quaddie leagues at Flemington on Saturday, and he's pretty confident, Mitchy boy. What about in the early part of the meeting there? Do you like anything, Mitch?
Yeah, G. Look, it's interesting racing. I think maybe tricky betting races. So if we look at race 2, Bayou Music and Akora, they're coming out of that same race in behind Bacula, so it's a really strong form line. I think one of those two wins the race. It probably went the way of Akora, given it looks a really soft race map, it's going to get out in front, but Bayou was hitting the line strongly last time. But the one I'm probably keenest on in the early part, G, race 4. I'm really excited
just on that
to
race,
see
just on that. Sorry, Mitchy, just on race 2.
No, you're right.
I like the way that Reese Goodwin young galloper hit the line there the other day.
Those are my 3 numbers. They all come out of that same form reference. I think one of those is going to be the one that wins the race. So that's not doing any help to anyone, really, is it? But for me, Akora sort of looks the only real sort of speed in the race. Somebody like a Valdea Warrior might have to kick up and make it a little bit tougher for him. And I felt over the 1,800 metres, if John Allen was allowed to control the tempo of the race in the middle stages, he might be hard to catch. So that's why I'd lent that way. But no, you're onto it. If I was having any multiples, it'd be 1, 2 and 4, clearly.
And that's an important race, the Biley Handicap. I think it's been a great initiative by the VRC and Lee Jordan. You win that race and you get a ticket into one of the classics during the Flemington Carnival, either the Oaks or the Derby. So it's always interesting. Some good horses have come out of that race too in previous years, the Biley Handicap. What about some of the other earlier races? That 2-year-old race is a beauty when you've got that colt by Blue Point. I think Oyster Lane that was good on debut. Shining Smiles was in red-hot form before going for a break. A Bold Secret showed enough for Philip Stokes. Sideline was impressive on debut. I'm looking forward to that race.
Yeah, I'm thinking Oyster Lane, G. If it can show up like it did first up there, obviously that impressive run, it probably nearly should have won the race, but Son of Kirk weaved some magic to win that race. So I think Oyster Lane found itself in a little bit of traffic. I doubt that's going to be the case 1,000 metres here at Flemington down the straight. So, it and Shining Smile look to 2, but I think Oyster Lane off that last start run's ready to win one.
And can your horse, Jazz Affair, step up to the mile and get the job done?
I certainly think she's a chance, G. Like, I'm trying to not to be too biased in this race. I think that Leilani final form reference is the one to come out of. So that includes Cindy Foles as well. And Miss Tarzi, obviously impressive winning that race. But I thought Cindy Foles a chance. It's proven at the 1,600 metres. Sounded outs in there. And I give Jazz a good chance in it. I think that last start run in the final, she was 6th, but she's hitting the line just as good as any of them.
What's your best at Flemington?
Look, G, I've got value really. My best bet's going to be lose some, win more. I think he's a good chance, and giving it's the middle of winter, I'll back him each way if I'm getting the right place price. But I think he gets the job done. And then the best values, De Bergerac. There's a lot better value last night when I did the form, but I'm still happy to be backing him with the setup he gets in the huge weight swing on the favourite.
And then in Adelaide, they've got the Group 3 South Australian sires. Volcano was exceptional on its synthetic track at Ballarat on its home track, leading all of the way. He's come up at $3.20. Bootlegger at $4. Ethereum Girl at $4.20. And then you've got Kazaroo at $9, mostly for show at $10. As Calvin McAvoy pointed out, there's a lot of unknowns in this race, and a lot of them have been thrown into the deep end. But it's a fascinating contest. Have you worked this one out?
Yeah, so I'm pretty keen Ethereum Girl, G. And I think it's just some of the different setups that it's getting versus others. I think it's great value. So it was second last start in the listed race behind Mataga for the Stokes' horse, and that one was very well supported. Everybody was very keen on its chances, and Ethereum Girl gave it a really good run. And I think third up here, 1,400 metres, is going to set up nicely for it. So we were with Bootlegger a couple of weeks ago. It's a big jump out of Class 1 to come and meet a horse like Ethereum Girl at a listed level, and Volcano probably suited on the Parks track. I can see why it's favourite off that big debut win, but it's a lot different coming from the Synthetic Maiden up to this. So I know it's not a super strong race. So if we're playing our top 4 multi, I was going to have Ethereum Girl just because I think it's got the touch of class, and this race does fall off a little bit there late, if you know what I mean. Kazaru is the other one that ran third behind Ethereum Girl. I've thrown it in some numbers as well at $9. I think that's the right form reference, and yeah, just the gap between the top half of the field and the bottom half of the field. I think Ethereum Girl finishes top 4.
Beautiful. So that's race 5, number 5 there for Lindsay Park in that Group 3 at Morphettville, Ethereum Girl. So I reckon we'll get about $1.30 there, top 4. So race 5, number 5. Good on you.
Yeah, we'll take
Mitchie.
that, G.
Yeah. You enjoy your day,
Thanks, mate. Good luck up
Mildura
there.
Cup Day there tomorrow, so looking forward to that. You'll have a few winners there, I reckon, for us at Mildura, but you enjoy your day.
I will do, G. I had a look at the fields. Half of them look like they come from Adelaide, so I'll be all over
Yep.
it. You have a good day. Enjoy your time, and I'll chat to you later.
See you, Mitchie. There's Mitchie Lewis there. Let's take the news.
Powered by Signet, making SEN News headlines. The federal government defends the PM's response to Chinese spy ships during his trip to China. Opposition leader Susan Lee says Anthony Albanese has not done enough to call out Beijing on the Chinese naval exercises off the Aussie coast earlier this year. Coca-Cola has reportedly agreed to stop using corn syrup in its drinks sold in the US, replacing it with cane sugar. Oprah Winfrey expected to return to Australia later this year, where she'll take part in a number of speaking events. And 2 thumbs up and a smiley face for today. It's World Emoji Day. Up next, SEN Sport. For the first time since last year's high-profile trade, GWS forward Jake Stringer will face his former side Essendon when the sides kick off round 19 tonight. Aussie quick Scott Boland's hat-trick at the West Indies has shot him into the ICC's top 10 bowling rankings. And in Super Netball, the Adelaide Thunderbirds and Melbourne Vixens are ramping up training ahead of Sunday's semi-final clash.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SENtrack. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Special giddy up as we get set for the Inter-Dominion at the Home Straight Bistro. Send in your text messages 0499 736 736. We'll have some time for the lads to answer a few of the questions today. 0499 736 736. Just repeating Mitchie's best at Flemington, race 9, number 2, Lose Some, Win More. And De Bergerac, race 6, number 11 for Graham Beag in the first leg of the quaddie. And his top 4, this is his input into our top 4 multi, which we got last week. Race 5, number 5, Ethereum Girl in the Group 3 race at Morphettville on Saturday, which is an each-way chance there for Lindsay Park. This is Giddy Up. You're listening to Giddy Up, brought to you by Bet365. Now, in that first race on Saturday at Flemington, if your first bet doesn't win, you'll receive bet credits equal to your stake up to $30. That's because it's never ordinary at Bet365, subject to availability. Eligible customers only. Terms and conditions apply. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Dean Watling and Mickey Gannon to join me next.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SENtrack. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. Thanks to Bet365. We are live at Albion Park this morning. It's great to be here at the Home Straight Bistro as it gets set for its biggest night on Saturday night with the running of the sport's biggest race, the Inter-Dominion, both for the Trotters and the Pacers. We'll have a big Facing the Breeze coming your way just after 11 o'clock. But we've got to find a few winners in Sydney on Saturday. We're back at Rosehill Gardens. We're racing on a soft 5, the rails and the true. Let's catch up with Mickey Gannon and Dean Watling. Hello to you, Mickey, first of all. I can't hear Mickey. I might say, can you hear us, Mickey? I've lost Mickey a little bit there. Is Dino there?
I got you, G. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, Dino. You're sounding beautiful today. How you been, mate?
I've been good, G. I got a new mic, so that's why hopefully I'm sounding okay.
Yes.
But no, it's
you
been
blew
a good
me
week,
away. You blew me away.
Sorry,
What do you think this track will do on Saturday? Back to Rosehill Gardens.
Yeah, back to Rosehill, G. Rail True, so that's normally the fairest that Rosehill tends to play. So I'm expecting tempo to be key for these races. You should be able to win from everywhere. And obviously we know the 1,100 metre shoot races, they do tend to play towards those horses on speed. But if anything, Rail True, and there's plenty of speed in those races to touch on. I think it'll be very fair and they'll be running on. So sort of lanes 2, 3 plus in the straight is the way I've played it, G-Man.
So Mickey Gannon's going to be on the phone because Dino said that I'm far better looking. So for the audience, it's better for me to be shown on the stream live. And Mickey Gannon joins us now on the phone. G'day, Mickey boy.
Yeah, head for Radio G. Good to be here.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this meeting on Saturday. And as Dino touched on, it'll be interesting to see how the track plays because it's been relatively dry of late. And this track with the rail in the true position, you've wanted to be off rail. But just with, the winds about and the track's getting a little drier now. There'll be absolutely no irrigation going on. I'm currently a soft 5. I'd suggest we get to a 4. And I think you might play a little bit fairer than normal. And I don't think rails and run will be too big a disadvantage as we have seen in the past.
Let's have a look at the first leg of the quaddie at Rosehill on Saturday. Good banter was good the other day, but geez, it's short here, I reckon, at 4.20. Genelesky is at 5.50. Cormac T, very consistent at 7.50. Assailant at 7.50. And then a little bit of money around for Naval Commission at $11. Awesome Wonder at $11. Dino, who wins the first leg of the quaddie?
Yeah, they haven't made it easy to kick off the quaddie.
No.
A lot of these have been going around the last couple of weeks. I think the query here is up to 2,400 metres. Who's going to handle that? And that's what I kept coming back to, G-Man. Good Band has been at the trip and ran a placing there. It's in career best form. And I'd suggest now, G, it won last start. That was off a freshen with a tick over trial. So you'd suggest natural improvement there, fitness-wise, lands on speed, gets in light with the claim. I thought Good Band Agano was the bet, but it's a race that I'm not quietly filled with confidence, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm really keen to play here, Dino. I think Fair Prospero is very good, exceptional last start, over 2,000 metres back along the inside, spotted the leader some 10 lengths. Off what was a pretty quick tempo, so to be able to rattle home as well as it did late in and amongst traffic off a hot tempo, I suggest that 2,400 metres won't be an issue at all. Keen on that horse, and Awesome Wonder, I think it's her chance again here, G. And as you quite rightly pointed out, may have been half a run short last time. Well, I don't think she'll be half a run short this time. Second time, 2,400 metres, and now here fifth up. So I think they're clearly the two horses we can bet on. Very confident and looking forward to the race, G.
So who was the first horse you mentioned? I just missed that.
Fair Prospero, the 10. So
the
10 and the
for
11.
Matty Smith. Do you know what? Can I give my top 4 multi-play away right now?
Please.
Is it in this race, G?
Yeah, it's in this race. Awesome Wonder. I think she's a little bit of value there at $11. She can be my top 4 play.
Dino?
What?
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Plays off me.
He's just waiting for you to confirm.
Yeah. What about numbers for the quaddie here? What numbers would you have, Dino? Good banter, of course. And
yeah, good banter. You have to throw the 11 Awesome Wonder. I think the distance ticked, and the 10.
Yes.
Probably outside of that, Gano, potentially Cormac T, maybe. But I'm probably happy with the 3 that we mentioned.
All right, then. We'll let that horse go. Now, I was close there the other day. Now, have you played this, Dino, yet? The 6-horse challenge, which is easy to play.
I have, G.
Yeah, so if you're an existing customer, head over to the racing section and click on the game to submit your selections for a chance to win $50,000. Now, if you don't get 6, you can still receive some cash if you get 4 or 5 right. That's because it's never ordinary at Bet365, subject to availability, eligible customers only, terms and conditions apply. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Randwick race, or Rose Hill, I should say, race 8, 9 and 10, and then Flemington, the last 3 races as well. So hopefully we can get the chocolates this week. Let's have a look at the second leg of the quaddie as well at Rose Hill, and this is one of these races involved with the 6-horse challenge. And we've got South of India at $6, the Black Cloud at $6, Corniche has trolled enormous, I reckon, ahead of his first up assignment at $6.50. Storm the Ramparts at $6.50, With Your Blessing at $8.50, Our Kobe Son at $9, and Brudenell a $13 chance. Disneck might need the run according to Bjorn. He's at $16 first up. Mickey, who do you like here?
Yeah, intriguing race. As speed on paper, I think you got South of India Motorboat, which potentially doesn't go around, and Storm the Ramparts. So you're 3 leaders. And I think Storm the Ramparts back to a dry deck might not be as good as he is on a wet deck, but I think he still gives a side. I think it's a clear race in 2 of those horses that roll forward, and that being Storm the Ramparts and South of India. The other runners are in a bit of strife, drawn wide, and With Your Blessing, some hope. Our Kobe Son still has a bit of upside, but happy to lean the way of the 8 on top from the 12, Dino.
Yeah, it's interesting. I love doing and dissecting this race. I thought we should understand the pattern of the day by this race. So if the leaders are getting sort of a good time of it, Gano's pushes are nice. But the way I've sort of played this track, I think there's good enough speed here to see horses landing off rails, running on. I thought Corniche has tried up enormously, like you mentioned, G. Yes, comes off some surgery and a gap between runs, but 3 strong trials leading in. Zach Lloyd, good gate. And the other one was our Kobe Son, G. I don't know if you remember the first up runner, Eagle Farm, 5-6 wide, 1,000 metres, hit a flat spot and then just kept coming with Pisanello. So that ties in somewhat here. I thought those 2 at good prices were nice enough bets. I tried to find With Your Blessing, but just think 1,100 metres first up might find that horse out, might need 12, and happy enough to take on Disneck here. I think Bjorn's comments are spot on. The trials looked a little bit average, G-Man. So the 3 Corniche and the 4 Our Kobe Son.
So we'll play 3, 4, 12 and 8, second leg of the quaddie there at Rose Hill on Saturday. We'll go to the winner challenge. Robusto, it's fair to say that he should have won the other day. He's at $3. Mm-hmm. Accredited put him in that pocket. He's at $4.20. Thunder Lips at $5.50. Soul Coats at $8. Estadio Mastara is at $8.50. Fortunate Kiss at $12. Fearson at $9. Basis Loaded at 20-1 here. Dino, you with Robusto, this favourite? He worked the house down according to Bjorn on Tuesday morning.
I am, G. I like that push from Bjorn, and I think the biggest factor here is the speed map, G-Man. There's not a whole lot of speed. Yes, bases loaded, accredited. Maybe Thunder Lips go forward, but outside of that, it's a race full of back markers. So Robusto can get the pick of the map here. I think we all saw last start, should have won second up off that bounce back of a plain first up effort. So Peaks, third up, I think it's a great bet. Just whether or not it's short enough, Gano. Not sure what price you had Robusto mark there in the 9th.
Yeah, it's interesting. I thought the price was definitely short enough. Goes forward, no speed, improves out of sight, and probably should have won last time, as G touched on. Accredited gets its chance for sure, but I was really keen on Thunderlips. I just thought, I was thinking bases loaded and accredited might just apply a little bit of pressure on Robusto, and that just allows Thunderlips to land 1-1. And I think right place, right time. The horse is absolutely low flying. It's continuing to improve. Gets to a dry deck that's where his career peak comes. This is a great race for him. Great setup in what's pretty much like a could turn into like a bit of a sit and sprint. And Thunderlips with 53.5 kilos to go bang over the top, G.
So Thunderlips, I think the only query for Thunderlips, as Bjorn pointed out, he's been up for a long time, but if he can regain his form that he's shown this preparation, he's going to be hard to beat as well. So our quaddy numbers will go with the 2 Baker runners, the 1 and the 10. Who else are we throwing in there? Maybe the 4? Accredited?
Yeah, I think we could throw in the 4G. I think that's about it. I think the 2 Baker runners will probably fight this out more than likely.
Race 10, Kirk Whalen, your horse there, Dino's at $4, Bunker Hut at $4.20, King of Rousseau at $4.60, Little Contro's at $7.50, Cloudland caused an upset the other day, first up at $12, and then double figures for the rest here, Mickey G.
Yeah, found the race held enough, G. I think Bunker Hut would definitely be a bet if we knew the inside was holding up across the day. The only query is last race of the day, and there's plenty of horses have gone over it. So Bunker Hut clearly on top. I just want to see how the track plays come 4:40 on Saturday afternoon. If the inside's holding up, more than happy to be betting up. Dino?
Yep, like this race a lot. I think you referenced the wet track form recently to a dry deck. I think we're going to get back to a good 4. So I can sort of mark down King of Rosso and Kerguelen. I think they're much better horses on soft to heavy, where Bunker Hut's the opposite. He had to face the wet track first up. 3 wide the trip at Rose Hill over the 1,100 metres there, 1,200 metres. That was full of merit. Second up now, loved its trials. You've hit the nail on the head, though, Gano. You just want to see Regan. He's probably going to get leaders back. You just want to see him sort of edge out on the turn and get to sort of lane 2-3 plus. I think if he does that, Bunker Hut is the winner of the last race, G. And I think $3.80 is a great price. I've sort of had him marked towards $3 more so compared to the market now. And keen to chime in. Race 10, number 4, Bunker Hut.
We'll go one out with Bunker Hut, hey? Why not?
Sounds a plan.
Now, with the
I
quaddie,
like that,
if you're playing the quaddie there, or Quinellas, Exactas, Trifectas, First Fours at Rose Hill on Saturday, or you could be playing at Flemington, or you could be playing at Bunbury, or the Parks track, you got to be betting with Bet365 because you do get Top Tote Plus. That's because it's never ordinary at Bet365. Selected meetings at eligible customers only. Terms and conditions apply. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Quaddie numbers 3, 10, 11 in the first leg, 12, 8, 3 and 4. Not in any order in the second leg. 1, 10, 4 third leg, and we'll come home with Bunker Hut, the 4-1 out in that final leg. We'll take a quick break. As we go to a break, Booger says, you're good enough looking for me, Gano. What are you doing Friday night? Kiss, hug, kiss, hug. You might have to go. I think Booger. Booger's from WA. I know he loves you. You might have to make a trip.
Oh, boy.
There. Yeah, oh, boy.
Meet him halfway.
To Denmark. Beautiful part of WA in the southern part there. Hey, we'll take a break. We'll come back and have a look at the first part of that card at Rose Hill.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SENtrack. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. This is the weekend preview. All thanks to Bet365. Great to have your company wherever you may be watching or listening today on the SEN app. You can watch us these days every day streaming live on the SEN app, our YouTube channel and also our Facebook page. It's a pretty handy early start to the card, I reckon, at Rose Hill. A lot of listeners have texted in. What do you make of the first race here, Dino and Mick? Spice Prawn at $4.20 is the favourite here over Sapling at $4.60. Crimson Wings at $7. What do you make of this race, Mickey G?
Yeah, interesting little race, isn't it? I don't mind it at all. I thought Alphard, the 6, Hippo, Barrier 1, luckless last time around. I think it's a pretty good horse. So probably getting $10 it with Bet365. I know the a little small forward from the Sydney Swans is very, very keen on this one. You have to listen to the Sydney set for all of that. But, I like to push that horse to 6 there, Dino.
Yeah, it's interesting. Should have just won last start, shouldn't it, Gano? The query for me is, do all of the Waller runners turn up? He's got 3 or 4 engaged, so that's a wait and see. But I like this race a lot, boys. I think Spice Prawn, yes, trialled up super, but not sure where it gets to from gate 12. And Sapling, I think it's a false favourite. They went up very short. Yes, it won last start, but this is a couple of grades up. So keen to bet in the race, G. Portofino comes out of the trial time black book. Really nice recent trial behind, will beat home the likes of Grand Prix, who won yesterday, and San Giovanna, who won last Saturday. So nice times. Gates a query, but happy to roll the dice with that horse at odds. And the other one's Royal Air Force. Showed a little bit at the trials first prep. Showed a lot more recently, and a big tick. Chris Waller, Zach Lloyd, and the blinkers go on first time, first up. That's always a big tick for mine off the trial. So happy to back the 2, Portofino, and the 7, Royal Air Force in race 1, G-Man.
We'll run through these next questions quickly. Tuileries at $1.80. Would you take that price for that well-back galloper for Peter Snowden and Tommy Sherry in the Jonathan Munn's colours of the red and the white? Mickey Gannon?
No, not at all, G. Had him up close to the $3.
All right then, Dino?
Yes, I'd take $2, G. I think it's close to a good thing. I wish it just didn't draw 11 of 11, but it's come back in phenomenal order going for trials.
Is it Spywise Day?
Have a best bet coming in that race as well, G. We will touch on that when we round out the show.
Is it Spywise Day on Saturday, Dino?
I think it is, G. Just needs to tick that 1,200-metre box now as a gelding. I think that's the only query, but the map looks very kind. I think it can find the 1-1 from that draw, and if it does, I think it's game over. Spywire wins. Gano?
More than happy to back Axios, take Spywire on at the current price. I think it might continue to drift if you get something like $3.50, $4, but not a lot between them, and I think Axios gets the run of the race stuff.
Beautiful. Best bets on that program at Rose Hill. Mickey Gadden, we'll start with you.
Yeah, just going back to the race you spoke about, which was, just escapes me now, race number 6, was it, G?
6.
User pin, Zach Lloyd aboard. This horse has really, really good figures at this setup, and I think he can get a really good run of race stuff. So I thought here, second up, user pin back to her best. I think she'd be very, very hard to beat. And we go closer to the end of the day. I thought Thunderlips was a really, really good bet. Another horse that just maps really well, sits off them and can go bang. So they're the 2 for me, Dino.
Yep, I think Tuileries wins, but you don't have to be an expert to find that. The 2 that I like at good odds, currently race 9, number 1, Robusto, G-Man. I think we can take that price. And race 10, number 4, Bunker Hut. I think he'll start closer to $3. So they're the 2 I like. And then we just mentioned off the top, race 1, the 2, Portofino, and the 7, Royal Air Force at good odds.
Robusto, your play for your top 4 multi, Dino. I've got about 20 seconds left.
Bunker Hut, G, race 10, 4,
Bunker
please.
Hut. I knew that would happen. What about you, Mick?
I'll take Thunderlips, mate.
Beautiful. Thunderlips in race number 9. I'm with Awesome Wonder in race 7, and Ethereum Girl, race 5, number 5 at Morphettville. That'll be up shortly. Make sure you get in early. We got it last week, lads. Good on you, Dino. Good on you, Mick.
Perfect.
Thanks, boys.
That is Giddy Up on this Thursday. Thanks for your company.